Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Community Connection. Glad you're with us on a cold fall morning. That was nice and crisp today. Hey, before we get started and talk with our guest today, let's check in with Gen Z's ambassador to the Boomers, the Melvinator. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, let me ask you a question,
Okay.
Taylor. I need to see you on the screen. Does the squash make you smile?
Stop. I cannot believe you.
How about talking tomatoes?
I should
I
not-
heard
I
a
should
rumor
not have
that
let it slip.
VeggieTales, that you like get triggered on VeggieTales.
It's the intro song to VeggieTales. It sends chills down my spine.
I so want to sing it right now, but
Yes,
I'm
we
not
do. Yeah.
Oh man.
You are the VeggieTale generation. Gen Z's the VeggieTale generation, aren't
Yeah. I'm just different.
they? Well, thanks for sharing that with me.
Oh yeah. I regret it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Claudia.
Morning, Mr. Robert J. Day.
How are you today?
Tired.
Tired.
I am tired.
That's unusual. I mean, you're usually going 100 miles an hour, but even you run out of steam sometimes.
Every
So.
once in a while, I pack myself a little bit too tight, and then I didn't
this
come out
is
right.
one of them, huh?
My schedule a little bit too tight, and then it doesn't go well. So,
All right. Well, snap out of it.
Yes, sir.
Introduce us to our
All right.
cool guest.
I'm sure I'll have more energy now that we have Leslie with us. So, Leslie Williams, we didn't hire you when you were Leslie Williams, right? We hired you when you were Leslie.
Bean.
Leslie
Nice upgrade
Bean.
on the last name, right?
It's more generic now.
Yeah, I went from Fly to Fletcher, and it was nice. There was no way we were going to hyphenate Fly Fletcher.
Fly Fletcher, though.
Yeah, no, we weren't going to hyphenate. But it was an upgrade. So Williams is kind of an upgrade to Bean. And now you are married,
Yes.
and you are part of Hat Creek Camp. And so we want to find out, tell us a little bit about you, your history, how you ended up at Hat Creek, and why would you want to work at a camp of all places?
Yeah. So my name is Leslie Williams. Obviously, I feel like I'm introducing myself in an interview. I'm originally from the Charlotte area. So down, if you know where Concord, Kannapolis area is, Dale Earnhardt. Yeah.
Don't. No. What?
No,
Yes, okay.
come on. Rest in peace, Intimidator, right? Originally from that area, I came up here to go to school about, I guess, 10 years ago. It makes me feel old, but I'm really not that old.
I'm not that old.
Went to Liberty, got my ministry degrees, got my Master's of Divinity while I was there as well. Really wanted to put that into practice and actually do ministry. And so I was looking around for stuff, and God was really orchestrated this job. I was recommended to apply for this job from someone. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try for it, and then been here for about a year and a few months now. I don't think it's quite a year and a half, but yeah, it's been really fun. And why I do what I do, it's going to sound like the Sunday school answer, but it's Jesus, like totally Jesus.
Well, that's still a good answer.
It is. I mean, I'll try not to dig too deep into this because I could just go on about it forever, but I really believe there's a big spiritual warfare on the family unit. Like, that is where Satan will get a stronghold, and that's where he's gotten strongholds for ages and ages. Whereas we have that opportunity here at Patrick Henry and even at Hat Creek Camp to be able to step in and say, here's Jesus, let's help reunite families, and let's bring it to original order as God intended. And let's show you that Jesus can help you do that, So I'm all about the gospel.
Do you feel like being involved in camp and coordinating the activities of the summer and programming year-round, do you feel like you're fulfilling your kind of your divinity pursuits in this sense of ministry?
I'm definitely using it.
Are you? Yeah.
I'm using it in a different degree than I originally thought. I've always been involved in church ministry, whether it be youth or children's ministry. And so when camp ministry opened up, I was like, camp? But then the more I've gotten into it, the more I'm like, I really appreciate the outdoors and the way that camp ministry can shape and really help children get those skills that they need, help youth to get those skills that they need, and be a really fun way to teach them about the gospel too. So, like Jesus isn't just boring and you got to dress up and go to church on Sundays to do, to enjoy Jesus, but you can have fun with him because he's a fun Jesus.
Well, a lot of the great awakenings in America's history was centered around camps, right? And the whole idea of camp is really from people gathering, spending days together. And so there is a spiritual aspect about camp.
So
do you have camp memories as a child? Did you go to camp?
I did. So I volunteered at a local horse camp
Okay.
from back at home. My sister used to go there. It was actually a camp for children who had disabilities.
Oh.
And so I actually served as one of the volunteers. I got to take around a group of boys to every single group activity. That was really fun. Yeah. They were like probably in elementary school. But they had like, of course, horse riding. They had some low ropes courses and things like that. And it was a joy to see just their happiness and how much fun that they had at camp.
I have definitely my entire. I think the first year I went to camp was probably when I was 12. So 12 to 18, camp, winter retreat, youth camp every summer, and memories like formative memories of my spiritual life were at camp, and then spent a summer going to 13 different camps in like 9 different states. We would do a week in one state, and we were representing the college that I went to, and so we were recruiting students by serving as counselors. So we would do a week, get in a van, drive 12 hours, do another week.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I was tireder
Tireder.
then than I am now. If I was trying to do that now, I'd never be able to do it. But even as a 21-year-old or whatever, it was an exhausting summer, but so much fun. Just the spiritual life change that happens for kids at camp. And you have a camp story, right?
Yeah, I only went to camp once as a kid. I don't remember the name of it, but I call it the Slits Beer Camp for Boys because the camp was sponsored by Slits Beer. So all the kids were scholarship to go down to the Smoky Mountains to go to camp. All the taverns in eastern Kentucky would send a child, a boy, and since my mom worked at a bar, I was the boy that got to go to the Slits Beer Camp for Boys.
Wasn't church camp then.
It was not a church camp. I got a Slits Beer towel and a hat and T-shirts, and in the evening after dinner, we'd watch a movie with Slits Beer commercials.
Oh.
So can you imagine what, right? Slits was trying to raise the next generation of beer drinkers, and all the guys who volunteered to be there as campers, they all sat around at night and drank Slits beer around the campfire. Can you believe that? I mean, it's amazing. But after high school, I went and worked at a Christian camp, and it changed my life.
It is. Like, there's just being able to observe the kids and just to be able to teach them about Jesus in that kind of environment and seeing them experience Jesus. Like, I remember over this camp, like, it was just the sweetest thing to hear their voices praising God and singing. Like, that's one of the memories I think that'll stick with me for a while. It's like, yeah, it was amazing.
So it sounded like you stepped out of your comfort zone a little bit because this wasn't in your plan,
Yeah.
right?
It was in God's plan, but not my plan.
That's right, and that's usually where we grow. So
Yeah.
would you say that you've grown this last year?
I would say so. It was definitely a growing and a learning curve for me. It was a good stretch, and it was a stretch that I needed. I feel like I got a little bit more independence and resiliency and everything. So God has really done a work in me, and He's opened my eyes to not having such a black and white view of things, but understanding that He's in the gray, and He can help you work through the gray things. So He's been faithful to me in this season. I could sit there and talk about Him all day, but He's great, clearly.
What, if I can ask real quick,
Yeah.
what's been your greatest personal challenge in this role for you then?
So my personal challenge would be delegating, just because I'm very much like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself kind of thing. And so I'm like, no, I can't, because I have to realize my own limitations, and it's not fair to the job and getting things done if I'm sitting here trying to carry the weight of it all, knowing that I can't carry the weight of it all. So I've really had to grow and be like, okay, who can I find that has a greater strength in this than I do, that I can then hand this off and say, hey, if you're okay with this, because, I don't want to overstep or anything, but if you're okay with this, would you be either able to do it, or would you be able to come alongside me and help me and teach me how to do it so I can be better in this area?
That's good.
So what are a couple memories from the last, you've done 2 summer camps, right? Because you came right before. So what are give us a memory or 2 that kind of stand out from those years. Positive ones probably would be good.
Positive ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think. No, I'm kidding. So this one's kind of funny, but it's really positive. So we were on the high ropes course this past summer. And Hannah, who was our camp health officer this past summer, she loved doing the high ropes course. She loved sending them off on the zip line. So there was this one, I want to say it was elementary school grade, so the elementary, middle school grade. This one girl had come across, and everybody was encouraging her, really saying, like, let's go, you can do it, you can do it. And she got to the zip line, and she was just so scared to do it. Like, she was so nervous. And I was on the catching end, so when they got off the zip line, I would be able to, take them out of their gear and stuff. And I kid you not, she probably stayed up there for probably like 30, 45 minutes, just gathering that courage to get off the zip line. But watching Hannah being so patient with her and just being able to talk through with her, I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's getting late. Yeah, it's going to put us behind schedule on things, but this is a good experience for this child to be able to learn what it means to conquer fears, to be able to grow and say, you know what? At the end of all this, I did this. So what was really funny about it, though, is that she eventually came down after Hannah promised her 3 pieces of her favorite candy.
No.
So
That was the motivation to risk your life, right?
So next time, just fast forward to the candy.
Yep, just fast forward to the candy.
This would be a good time to watch a little video about camp.
She was going to share 2 memories, though.
Oh, yes. Give us a second
Right,
memory.
you said a couple. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Well, the summer before last, we had a family, which I know we've talked about this family before, but it was just a really sweet memory that I had, was that we had this family that sent their son to camp. He absolutely loved it. And then they wanted to send their daughter to camp. So they were like, well, can we do that? She has a few physical needs that need to be taken care of. Do you guys have the capacity to do that? And so we're like, you know what? We can look into it and see what we can do. So what we did is we ended up having someone at the time who actually worked in another department come out and be her buddy for the week and help her with things. And the amount of independence that she showed throughout that week, it was great. The mom came back later and she was like, my child came home to me with bruises. And she's like, I know that doesn't sound great, but that just shows that she was a kid and she was able to enjoy that time and have a great time. And that memory really stuck with me, because my sister has a lot of physical needs too, and being able to see her go to horse camp during the summers and just be able to be a kid and enjoy it, and just to have, just to know that she's being well taken care of and being able to experience it and have fun.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Hey, Liam, let's take a look at this camp video.
I've actually known about Hat Creek Camp since I was about 12, and so then when I was getting into wanting to work with foster kids and going to social services and stuff like that, I was like, that would be a great opportunity.
This is my 3rd summer at camp. I'm here for the counselors so that they can best serve the kids. Whatever the counselors need, however they need support, whenever they need direction or planning and that kind of structure.
So at camp, you have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and there's almost no in between. You are forced to grow, and it really just matters where you grow or how you grow, but you will grow as a person. Laying my vulnerabilities down at the foot of the cross has been a huge lesson I've learned. And again, the kids help you learn that, because the kids come up and they have no filter and they'll immediately just pull at anything that you could be vulnerable about yourself.
These kids have enough going on at home, a lot of them. And I want them to just be a kid. I want them to just be able to exist and be and get better and heal. If I can play a small part in that by giving them a cup of water or making them smile or just showing them like you matter, you're not just a number, you're not just a person in a place. That's what I love about camp is you get to do that every day.
So honestly, I've learned to just have fun, to dance at a dance party, to sing louder than I've ever sang in my life, to just smile and have fun, because that's what the kids need. It's summer camp. They don't need, you to sing on the right key or to say the word full right. They need you to just love them and just to have fun.
The people that are either here year round or the people that are seasonal and they come in just for the summer, you know that God's here. He's present, he's working. It feels like a home. We're a smaller camp. We don't have as many kids or as many cabins or the biggest property, but we've got the Lord. And we really love these kids. And that's what we build everything else on.
They really know how to sell it, don't they? But it's all true, right?
It is.
Every bit of that's true. Right? And I think if you're a parent and you're sending your child to camp, you can know they're going to be well cared for and loved, right? You guys don't waste any moment or opportunity for these kids. And that's powerful. And that's what a smaller camp can do, right?
Yep. Every moment counts with these kids because we only get them for a week. Which some people might think it's kind of disappointing because you only have a week to make a difference. But that's a gift that you need to utilize, like that's a gift that you need to take advantage of and really go with. So,
well, folks need to think about it this way. You could send a child to Sunday school every Sunday for a year and still not equal the number of hours that they will have in 1 week of summer camp.
amen.
Right? So that impact is, it's compacted down into a short period of time, and that makes it really powerful, doesn't it?
Plus, I think that when you're out of your comfort zone, even for the kids, there's like a heightened awareness. That's why mission trips are powerful, because when you're not in your day-to-day and you're in something different, it's like your memories are stronger, it's special, it's different, and so there's more power involved with that. I won't say their names, but a couple of the little girls that came, or one of the little girls that came, I picked them up for Sunday school now, and I think I picked them up. They probably were there, July? Elementary school camp in July. And I picked them up in a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "How many weeks till camp?"
Aw.
Yes.
And they're because it's that kind of a memory, right? They remember it. They want to come back. They can't wait. They're so excited. So that's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. Hey, Leslie, I want to talk about the 40 developmental assets real quick. So
All 40 of them?
Well, not all 40. But the Search Institute developed these developmental assets based on kind of the evidence out there and the data out there that if children and adolescents have these 40 developmental assets, they're going to be healthier, more stable, et cetera. And they're kind of broken into external assets and internal assets. And under internal assets, there's things like positive values, social competencies, and positive identity. But when I read these, I think, wow, camp, right? Because sometimes kids can't get these things in their family environment or even in their community environment, but we can do it at camp. So, for example, responsibility. A young person accepts and takes personal responsibility. Planning and decision making. A young person knows how to plan ahead and make decisions. Interpersonal competency. A young person has empathy, sensitivity, and friendship skills. Cultural competence. A young person has knowledge of and comfort with people of different cultural, racial, and ethnic backgrounds. Peaceful conflict resolution, right? I mean, there's just so many things on here, right? Do you see any particular one in there that you think, wow, Hat Creek Camp really kind of nails that? We do a good job of infusing that in 1 week of camp.
I would say self-esteem is definitely one big one that I'm seeing under the positive identity one. Because we have so much that requires them to really be courageous, believe in themselves, and celebrate their accomplishments after they do it. We had one child this past summer that was scared to swim And one of our counselors, every time it was late time, she would go in with her and she would, they would go a little bit at a time. And every time she did it, counselor was like, good job. You did great. We're going to work up to it. You can do this. You can do this. And so just working with the kids and having, like you said, with the smaller camps, it's easier to do that with because you have that more intentionality with it to be able to build their self-esteem and to be able to say, you know what, you can do this. Like the high ropes, the girl with the candy, like being able to say, you can do this. You can conquer your fears. You can endure hard things, and being able to put the gospel behind that and say, look at what God has made you to do. Look at what he's equipped you to do, and he is with you while you are doing it as well.
And these are transferable skills. That's why you teach them at camp, right?
Yeah.
That girl may never be on a ropes course or in an environment or situation where she has to zip down a rope, but she's learned some internal strength and to deal with the next challenge. It looks maybe different.
Yeah,
Right.
like more like life applicable things. Like,
Yeah.
she may conquer, like you said, the high ropes course. Then the next thing she has to conquer is, working a group project assignment or something, because we
Yeah.
know how group projects can
Yeah.
be.
Or a job interview.
Or a job interview, yeah.
Or becoming the, program coordinator at a
Yeah,
at a camp.
That's
when
right.
that wasn't part of the plan.
Speak the truth.
Yeah. Positive view of personal future. A young person is optimistic about her or his personal future. That's what I remember about working at camp. Even though I was a camp counselor, not a child, I learned a lot of leadership skills, and I could see a path. Right, from just this little bit of leadership and just working with children and giving some tasks and being able to, I saw a future.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it?
It is. Not only do we instill that in our campers, but you're right, our camp staff too.
Yeah.
Like being able to teach them life skills because, people think, oh, it's just camp. Well, it's not just camp. You can learn a lot from just camp. I know, I'm with the quotation marks. I'm a very visual, handsy person like that. But you learn, like you said, you learn leadership skills, you learn conflict resolution skills, you learn like decision-making and planning skills, like you just learn interpersonal skills and all these things that help carry you into success in the future. And it starts in a safer environment at like camp to be able to do that with and really kind of springboard you off to success.
Well, there's things like cooperation, collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Learning that I don't always have to have my way for things to be okay, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
stuff that we used to kind of learn.
Yeah,
Right?
but now it's not as prevalent.
It's not as
sometimes.
prevalent. So that's, to me, camp is about regaining kids' childhoods, right, where these things can be safely learned
Amen.
in an environment where there's psychological safety and I know that I'm loved. If I mess up, they're still going to love me, right?
And another piece, I think, I heard a rumor that even teenagers can't have their phones. Is that true?
You said teenagers can't have their phones?
At camp.
Nope.
They can't have their phones for a whole week.
Nope.
So one of the kids that our church sent to camp, when we finished, we had all the kids talk about camp at church. And she almost didn't come because she was worried that she wasn't going to be able to live without her phone. Like seriously, she asked me, she texted me, am I going to be able to have my phone? And I said, I don't think so, but you're going to be okay. And she goes, well, I'm not sure I'm going to go. But her mom said, that's already been paid for. You're going to go. So my husband, when he was interviewing her at church, he said, I understand you couldn't have your phone at camp. And she said, yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. And then she said, but by the last day of camp, I forgot I had a phone. And that just warms my heart because that's one of my soapboxes, about how much time people are spending and missing that, like, true engagement because they're always thinking about what, I go out for dinner and watch college kids that don't talk the whole meal.
Yeah.
Because whatever's in their phone is more important than the people right in front of them. And that scares me. And so having somebody say, I spent a week at camp and on the last day I forgot I had a phone, that was like the best thing I could hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. They're too busy to be able to do anything on your phone anyway.
Well,
Right?
there's
You can
no,
go in.
how do you learn interpersonal skills, really, right?
Yeah.
You don't. And So, in our remaining time, we want to cover two things. One is how does a family sign up and get their child to Hat Creek Camp? What do they need to do?
It's a great question. So just go to our website, hatcreekcamp.org, and you'll go over to the registration page to sign up your kid for camp. Now, registration, I will say, is not yet open,
Okay.
but we will make an announcement, so be sure at least to follow us on Facebook, and we'll be making that announcement when it is ready to registration.
Because
or
you're
when
probably still
registration
planning
opens.
out the weeks of camps and stuff.
We,
Yeah.
we got most of it done. We got maybe like 1 or 2 weeks I'm still fiddling around with, but
Right. It's not too
Most of
early
it
to
is.
think about camp, right?
no, it's never too early to think about camp. No. We're already thinking about it. I mean, it's easier for us because we work there, but we miss you guys a lot. So y'all just get ready for next summer and come out and join us.
Now, a family that may be having financial difficulties about thinking about sending a child or 2 or 3 or 4 to camp, there's help, right?
Yes, we do have camper scholarships that they can apply for, which are also listed on the website too. They'll click it out, fill out some paperwork. It'll
yeah.
go straight to our office manager, and she does a wonderful job praying over those and reviewing those. And then you receive a response back, and
Okay.
we help you through that process. And if you have any questions when you do go through registration, please do not hesitate to call.
Yeah.
We're here to answer our phones. We're here to help you guys out and really help you understand the process. So please do not hesitate to call, email, anything like that.
But you have another need as well.
Yes, I do.
You can't have camp without
People.
people. And it's definitely not too early to recruit summer staff, right?
Nope. In my book, literally, recruitment begins the day after summer camp ends. I'm like, let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
So what does a person need to do?
So they also need to go to our website. And they also need to go over to job opportunities, or it might be under opportunities there. But it'll have a link where you can go ahead and apply, and that application is already open. We are currently looking for overnight counselors. We're looking for lead counselors, 1 male, 1 female, camp health officer, preferably someone who's interested in the medical field, activity specialists, and we're willing to train because activity specialists, because we do offer a lot, like specialized activities, we're willing to train on those if anyone's interested. And then some operation staff that really help out with the logistics and setting up of the activities of camp. Yeah.
So who's the ideal summer camp counselor?
Someone who knows how to take initiative, who is teachable, who loves kids, and final but first and foremost, loves Jesus and has a passion for the gospel.
Everything else can be taught about the job, right?
Yes.
You don't have to have previous experience.
No, not have previous experience.
You have to be a certain age, though, correct?
Yes. So you do have to be 18 or older. If we are able to get enough interest, we want to split up the counselors into overnight and day counselors. If we do day counselors, we are now accepting 16 and older for our applications for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any final questions from you, Miss Claudia
I think I'm
Fletcher? Claudia Fletcher?
Fly Fletcher. See, it's going to catch.
good. Not going to catch. No, I think I'm good today.
How many staff do you need in a typical summer?
Ideally, I would like at least 15.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot for the stars and say 15.
And that's been a little hard to get
It
this
has.
last couple since COVID, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's been
For-
hard to get.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's been difficult to reach those numbers. But I will say, like for the past few summers, our full-time staff has been amazing, just to step up and help, and
Yes.
even our seasonal staff to be able to come in and fill in needs where they see there's a need. And that's one reason I think initiative is so important in summer camp. Not that we want to risk burnout of our employees, but being able to see a need and at least address it or bring it to someone else's attention and say, hey, something needs to be done about this. That's really important to have.
Now, if somebody's watching this and wondering, how much does it cost to send a child to camp?
It costs, I want to say it's $375.
So $375. So families are eligible for partial and maybe even full scholarship.
Yes.
So if a person wants to send a child to camp, we're talking about $375.
Yes.
But we'd also take less than that if that's all you can
Yes.
give, right? Because we do partial scholarships as well.
Yes,
And we end up giving a lot of scholarships away every summer, don't we?
we do. It's
Right.
it's a godsend.
It is a godsend. So if that's on your heart today, we'll happily take your credit card, your check, cash anyway. But we'd also take your campers, your children, and if you want to come and serve,
Yes.
right? Because you got kitchens. I mean, there's just a lot of places you can serve.
There's a lot you can serve, and if you have a unique talent that you believe that you would like to contribute to camp in any way, if there's like if you can play the banjo, I know that's so random, but if you can play music, or if you're like into and you want to volunteer your time to
Drama.
camp, drama to like help out with certain needs that we have, and not like necessarily say you don't want to like commit full time, but you just want to volunteer some hours, we are more than happy to accommodate you as well. Like we're willing to kind of work with you and what your strengths may be to really create a place for you.
All right, folks, I promise you that this place and this ministry and these people change lives, right?
Yeah.
And they really do provide hope for future for kids who sometimes just don't have good childhoods. So if you are compelled to volunteer, to sign up for the summer, to give, reach out to this young lady right here.
Yes.
She'll hook you up. Thank you, Leslie.
No, thank you for having me, guys.
Joy to have you on with us.
It's been fun.
It's always good to see you. You look lovely today, as always.
I think time's up now. We'll be done.
Should we close out with Veggie Tales?
Song.
Let's sing it.
I don't want to sing on this. I don't want to sing, but we can say the words. If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile, if you like to waltz with potatoes up and down the produce aisle, have we got a show for you? Veggie Tales.
Veggie Tales.
Veggie
We love you, Melvinator. All right, thanks. We'll see you next Thursday on Community Connection.
Nobody gets to choose their family. If a person is fortunate enough to be born into a healthy family, then life can be much like floating down a smooth, gentle river in the summertime. But an unhealthy family is like a dangerous river, filled with rocks, debris, and fast-moving water. This river swiftly leads to the steep waterfall of adulthood, tragically forming a new river of dysfunction. Even if you aren't born into an unhealthy river, there are many streams that cause a person to get there. But there is only one way to get out, and that is through a meaningful relationship. Across our region, there are many agencies, churches, and families who are devoted to helping children escape from unhealthy rivers. Some feel their role is to wade in and rescue children. They foster, adopt, or provide safe families. Others stand by the river and support the rescuers by providing what they need. Still, others are upstream and stand in the gap to keep children from ending up in the negative situations. At Patrick Henry Family Services, we see ourselves as having an additional role. We are running up and down the shores of the unhealthy river, screaming, "Can't you see the children in the water? You have to do something." Vision 30 is a 10-year initiative. By 2030, we envision a region where all children are safe in their own family, or with caregivers who are supported by a local faith community. So, where do you stand at the river? Are you upstream, keeping families together and strong by standing in the gap? Are you in the river, directly impacting children? Are you on the shore, providing support for the brave folks who have entered the river? Or are you just passing by without noticing? No matter who you are, come down to the river with us. Let us help you find your place. Not only will lives be changed, but you will never be the same.